The majority of our comment section here on the FMSCOUT channel is you guys letting us know some players that have done wonders for you in your saves and telling us to go and check them out. Well, today we're going to do exactly that. Today we'll be looking at 15 players suggested by you guys, some of which I know, some of which I've never heard of, so it should be a pretty fun one. We're going to take a look at them, see if they're any good, and see what all the hype's about. Now, we did do a video like this right at the start of the year where we looked at some of your guys' picks. Don't worry, these ones are going to be totally different, but in the comments of that, you guys did ask us to try and add some players in that weren't necessarily, you know, your £5-10 million players. You wanted some cheaper guys for lower divisions, so there is a few of those in this video, so hopefully there's something for everyone. And the first player that we're going to look at is the French central defender Isaac Touré, and the comment that suggested him said that he was one of the highest goal scorers in this guy's team from defence, which is, you know, a pretty crazy statistic in its own right. How accurate it is, I don't know. I haven't seen the guy save, but I could definitely imagine this guy would be a massive threat from any set piece. Now, I believe we covered him in our Meta Defenders video that we did a few months ago, but he is a brilliant option. 20 years of age, playing in the top division of France, mean he's likely going to be in most of your guys' saves, even with a small database, and he's got an £8 million valuation. Being 20 years of age too, this isn't the final article. He is obviously going to progress and develop, and being a regular starter at Lorient already means he will get game time, and pretty quickly you'll start to see him developing into a top defender. Now, are his attributes necessarily amazing when it comes to defending and, you know, on the ball ability? Not really. He's got 12s, 11s, 10s. It's not amazing, right? But obviously, this guy's real strength comes in not just the strength, but the jumping reach and the heading ability of this man. He is a physical monster. He is huge as well. 6'8" is probably one of the tallest players in FM, particularly outfield players. You could see why he would be a danger at any set piece. He's not only tall, he's going to outjump pretty much everyone, outstrength them, get a header on goal, and score you a ton. Now, is he going to be the best defender, the best passer, the best distributor? Maybe not, but I think you can kind of forgive it. Put him next to someone that's a bit more technically sound, and Isaac Touré will be a beast, and he's a great suggestion from you lot. And up next, we've got a Portuguese attacking midfielder. This is 25-year-old Zadus, who was a brilliant call from you guys. I've never really heard of him, yet he is a £1 million player playing his football for MRT, a team in the second division of Portugal, where he has been for a few years now, originally from Braga, and he's not got too long left on his contract, only a year. If he's someone that you can scout, you'll get yourself an absolute gem here. I think he's Premier League quality, maybe high-level championship if you really want to push it, but technically, you won't see many people better than this guy. 16 corners, 15 crossing, 15 first touch, 15 free kicks, 17 long shots, passing, great vision, great technique too. His only weaknesses are his tackling, long throws, marking, heading, but you can totally forgive that. He's not going to work the hardest with only 9 work rate. As a creative midfielder behind your striker, this left footer is an unbelievable talent. I don't know how we haven't came across him sooner. This is why I love doing these videos, because you guys will have found way different players to what I might have, and it's just great to see there are these kind of talents out there. 25, he's not even that old either. $1 million is an absolute bargain for a player like this. And I mean, technically, I know I spoke about it a second ago, but those technicals are as good as some of the top players in world football. Now, as we said, there's 15 players in this video, and so far we've covered 2, but before we get into the rest, I want to ask you guys, if you can, head into the comments and let us know your favourite talents. If they haven't appeared in this video, put them down below, because we might make a follow-up to this still with all of your suggestions, and even if not, it's great just to have a list there for everyone else to look at and find some of the gems. You'll be surprised what your knowledge could bring to the table. We might not know about these players, so make sure you do, and smash the like button as well if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure once this video is done, if you like FM content, you come and check out my channel, which you can find linked in the description of this video. But before you do any of that, you want to check out these other 13 players. And this is a good time to get Asano Drago out of the way. This is probably the most well-known talent on the list because he is one of the best Wonderkids in FM24, yet I had to include him in this video because his comment that suggested Drago was the highest like comment on the video. He's always suggested to us pretty much any video we do, you can guarantee in the comments somewhere someone will say, check out Asano Drago, and trust me, we have. This guy is a generational midfielder in the Football Manager world, has been signed by Leipzig in real life, I believe, so we'll see whether he actually goes on to be anything similar to what he can be in game. But in FM, he is a brilliant talent at a good price, playing for a team that would be willing to sell, with great starting ability but huge potential, and the attributes are so well rounded that when he does grow, he is just good in every single area, like a modern day Yaya Toure, Paul Paul Pogba when he develops at a top level, so make sure you check out Adrego if you somehow didn't know him. This next suggestion is fantastic though. You guys told us to take a look at Connor Chaplain of Ipswich. Now I'm aware of the player in real life in helping Ipswich get promoted, but I haven't checked him out in FM, and I think this is a real talent. I don't know whether he was boosted in the winter update and that's why he looks so good, but he's a midfielder in the prime of his career, valued at about 12 million, who has some good attributes all around, yes, but the clear specialty in his game is that 17 finishing, which is as high as some of the world's best strikers that you can think of. He will be better than a lot of strikers out there, as you'll see in this video. That 17 finishing is exceptional, great technique as well, and the decision making is decent, the composure's good, great first touch, dribbling, long shots as well. This is a brilliant attacking midfielder. Shadow striker, as it suggests, would be perfect for him, and for £12 million or so, if you're a low-level Premier League team, maybe mid-level Premier League team, if we use that as a kind of guide of how good he could be, Connor Chaplain would be a great player for you, and definitely one to watch in FM25. Lorenzo Luca has been a fan favourite in Football Manager for a few years now, and there is no shock as to why. This guy is an aerial beast with great technical ability on top of that ability in the air. He's a physical presence that's going to dominate any defence in Football Manager this year. If you don't know, having really strong physicals, whether it's height, strength or pace, or sometimes a combination of all, will make a player really powerful in game. The best part about Luca is he's got that, but he's got the mental and technical attributes to his game too. Now, it hasn't quite worked for him when he did go to Ajax. He's then ended up at Udinese on loan from Pisa. I don't know how it went for him in real life or if he got signed, but in FM, he is a top draw talent, and it just shows you how good Connor Chaplin's finishing was, that Luca's is good at 14, Connor Chaplin's was 17, so that's how good of a goal scorer he can be. But Luca is a man that you want up top. He scores tons of goals, and it is another fantastic suggestion from you guys in the comments. One suggestion that did take me by surprise though was Michael Olagigbe, who is a player that's playing for Brentford but is loaned out currently to Peterborough. Now, I haven't heard of this guy in real life. I don't know if he played a lot for Peterborough in the most recent season. I can't say I keep up with them, but the person that suggested him said that he must have some amazing hidden attributes because he's been great in game despite not having the world's best attributes on paper, and I think there's a reason as to why he is playing well, and it's because he is super quick, super direct, and if you have that in this year's game, he is going to be very powerful. Now, being 19, he's obviously got room to grow still, so maybe after a few years of development, he can be a real top talent, but I don't quite think he's got the potential to do so looking at him here, but you could see how he could be a good squad player in the Premier League for a team like Brentford. Would I necessarily suggest this guy to everyone? No, but he definitely is worth a scout. Keep an eye on him, and who knows, someone in the comments said that he's been really good for them, so maybe he could be good for you. But let's go for another bargain player. For £2 million or so, if you go to Zaragoza, you can pick up in the Spanish second tier a brilliant striker by the name of Ivan Azon, who's been at Zaragoza for a few years now and is a really good talent. 17 work rate, 16 bravery, not the best technically, but he's got a lot going for him and some really well-rounded physical attributes too, which will benefit him massively. Now, I've used him personally and I've seen this guy get 30 or 40 goals a season, so all the comments suggesting him, I can definitely get behind. Azon is a brilliant bargain option, and being in the second tier of Spain, it's not like you have to be a huge club to try and prize him away from his current team, so he's definitely one that's worth taking a look at. Another brilliant suggestion from you guys, one of the cheaper options in this list if you are after a bargain forward, and being 20, he's obviously still got quite a lot of room to grow yet and become an even better player than what we're seeing here. Another great pick. Another top young player that you can pick up for a cheap fee that we wanted to check out was Xiao. There wasn't just one comment about this guy, we've had a few on recent videos, and we haven't really covered him too much here on the channel because we have spoke about him a lot in previous Football Managers. I've done a whole Wonderkid to Superstar on him back in the day, but he is still a very good talent, undoubtedly so. 18 years of age at Benfica with a pretty long contract as well, valued at £3 or £4 million, maybe even cheaper in your save. I've been able to pick him up for £1 million in a save that I did when I was managing in the Portuguese divisions, because it tends to be he won't get a chance at Benfica. He's not quite at their level just yet, but he does have a potential to do so. He's great on the ball in terms of his creativity, maybe not the best finisher, but he's got lots of great mental attributes. The physicals are decent too, and there's some good technicals as well. Is he the perfect player? No, but he has the potential to become a top level talent. I wouldn't necessarily say this guy is super overpowered or anything like that, but he is a very good bargain pickup for the price, for the potential. So I'll let you guys have this one. He is a good choice, and Xiao is a player with a really bright future. But let's get away from attackers for a second and drop into defence, where Josh Doig is a name that we hear repeatedly here on the channel. This is Sassuolo's Scottish 21-year-old left-back, formerly of Hellas Verona, I believe. Yes, he was. And he's also played for Hibs out in Scotland, which is where he developed. Then he moved over to the Italian divisions and seems to be bouncing around there, earning himself a £5 million move very recently to the Italian Giants, who I believe have now been relegated into the second tier. So who knows if he'll be someone that you can sign for cheap next year in FM, or if you do rebuild Sassuolo, he will be a brilliant talent at left back, because at 21, he's already got a lot of ability, he's got a lot of potential too, and I do know for a fact he has one of the highest potentials out of any left back. For £10 million, I think he is a good pickup, because eventually this guy is good enough to be a top 6 level Premier League left back at full growth. He's already got the base set to start off with here, with great attributes in all areas, bar maybe marking and a few other sections, but really he has got everything he needs to be a top level defender. He's got great pace too, he likes to get forward on that left hand side, and he's got some nice traits to go with that as well. So Josh Doig is another fantastic suggestion from you guys, and someone that I'm happy to have in this list. But speaking of defenders formerly of Hellas Verona, let's go on to our next player, who is Isaac Hein, a 24-year-old Swedish international who moved to Atalanta recently from Hellas Verona. £7.25 million supposedly is the fee, and Atalanta have themselves a gem here. The reason why he was suggested to us was that he scored a bunch of goals for someone in the comments, and again, much like Isaac Torre, who we looked at first, I can see exactly why. This guy's got 15 heading, great jumping reach, good strength as well, but what I like about him is whilst he might struggle a little bit on the ball with only 10 passing, 9 vision and 10 technique, he is very good at the other defensive aspects with 15 tackling, 15 marking, 13 work rate, 12 positioning. He's got aggression, bravery, composure needs some work, but again, he's not really someone that you want to have on the ball too much. He is going to be the no-nonsense defender in that defence, getting goals from corners, and Atalanta here, I think, have a real good star in their hands. Now, somehow, he is pretty much versatile in every single position. I don't know why that is, but, you know, just an extra benefit of signing him, I suppose. Isaac Hein is a fantastic option. And we continue the theme of the Italian divisions with Francesco Pio Esposito, Inter Milan's £10 million striker. I say 10 million, you can get him for far cheaper than this if you wait a little bit in your save, because usually he goes out on loan to Spezia, does pretty well, but then moves back to Inter and doesn't necessarily get a sniff of first team football. But age 18, you can already see the talent this guy can become. A brilliant finisher who's great in the air as well. He is someone that you need to be looking out for in your save. He is one of the most overpowered strikers in this year's game. You guys suggested him to us, and he definitely has to make this list. But one surprising suggestion that came in was the Celtic 17-year-old Scottish midfielder Daniel Kelly, who obviously came out the academy here. But for me, whilst he might have promise at age 17, he's clearly already got some great attributes like decision making, first touch, passing technique, work rate, and off the ball. I just think there's a lot of flaws in his game also. So I'm not necessarily sure right now that he is someone that I'd say everyone go out and sign. He'll be an amazing player, but I could definitely see the potential in this guy if he got the opportunity, purely because some of those attributes, while some are quite weak, some are already very strong, and age 17 they're only going to get better. So I'm not saying go out and buy Daniel Kelly straight away, but definitely scout him, because you could see how he could be overpowered. We had 2 comments about him on the space of a few videos, so I thought it'd be worth checking him out. I hadn't seen him before, and I don't think he's worth the 9 million, but again, might be one that's worth scouting. Give it some time, and when he's 18, 19, you might be able to get him for cheaper and already a more developed player potentially. 3 players to go, and this man had to feature in this video, I suppose. Patrick Berg seems to appear in any kind of video we do here on the channel about underrated gems, cheap beasts, overpowered players, because he fits the bill for all of those. The Norwegian midfielder is an international, plays for Bodo Glimt, so you can usually get him for quite cheap, sometimes for even cheaper than what you're seeing here, but you have to be quick because he is wanted by some top clubs, and there's a reason why. The guy has a great personality, he's got amazing mental attributes, brilliant technicals, and good physicals as well. Everything you would want from a midfielder, this guy has. Combine the price with it, and you definitely have an overpowered option in the midfield here. Moving on to the most expensive option in this list, suggested by you guys, we have Barcelona's Noah Darvic, the 16-year-old German, signed from Freiburg very recently by Barcelona. Clearly has huge potential. Age 16, his attributes are already phenomenal, and he's got big potential to go further still than what we're seeing here. He is a top draw player, another one that's going to be the future of this Barcelona team, who seem to have some great young talents coming through at the minute. I imagine Darvic might be the next one that we see get more game time in the coming season. A brilliant talent, a great suggestion from you lot. Even if he isn't quite at that overpowered bracket just yet, he will get there with some time, with some development. He will be a top draw midfielder. Before we see our final player though, I'll ask you one more time if you could do us a huge favour and smash the like button on the video. We'd massively appreciate it. But our final call from you lot in the comments was Sergio Caicedo. He was one that I decided to pick out after a lot of you suggested him. In fact, I think it was one comment about him and then a bunch of replies of everyone going, yeah, he's great for me too. He's great for me too. He's great for me too. He scored me loads of goals, and you could see exactly why he would be able to do that with amazing, amazing mental attributes for a 22-year-old. 16 teamwork, 16 work rate. The only weakness being leadership. Everything else is at a good level. He's got great penalties, can pass really well. He's a good finisher, great first touch. Maybe not the best in the air, but 11 heading isn't too bad. And his physicals are definitely workable. They might not be amazing, but he's got everything he needs in those areas to be a good talent. Combine that with the fact he's playing for Vallecano, who aren't necessarily the biggest side, so you can get him for a pretty good price of about 10 million. If he was playing for Atletico or Barcelona or Real Madrid, he probably would cost you a lot more because he is a real good talent. He's not someone I've used too regularly, but you could see exactly why he would score a lot of goals. I think I've had him in one save and he did well for me, so I definitely suggest you take a look at him. A brilliant overpowered forward. But there we go, there's 15 overpowered players suggested by you guys. We gave our thoughts, we showcased them to you. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Make sure you comment down below your favourites for the future, subscribe if you haven't already, and come check out my channel, linked in the description, for more FM content should you want it. I've been Jake for FMSCOUT, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.